Hello and welcome. So this week's episode, I'm changing the gearbox oil in the Corrado. So here we have, there's two bungs, so here's one and back over here somewhere. There. That's the second one. So there's two bungs. So you have to open the fill first, because if you drain the oil out of the drain and you can't open the fill, well, you're kind of stuck. I assume you probably could take the sensor out of the gearbox that reads your speedo and fill it that way, but you wouldn't really know how much to put into it. I think it's 2 liters. It might be 2.5 liters of 75W90, but I have 80W90. It's 5 of a difference, so I don't think it'll make any difference. That's all I have in the garage, so that's what I'm going to use. You can probably see my breath. It's really cold. It's the middle of winter, so January or something like that. So, right, time to change. So this is the bung, that's the fill, and that's what I want to go after first. So it takes a special socket, like where is it gone? Like a torque, like an Allen key. It's 17mm across. I don't have any 17s, and I don't really want to buy one just for that job. And I don't think you can buy them separately, not that I've found anyway. I think you have to buy them as a kit, and I don't see the point of buying it. So what I did was I got a wheel lug, an old one, and just welded on a 24. So that's going to be my Allen key. So put that in and then put a 24 wrench on it. And I'm putting the open face, not the closed face, because I want to pull straight down and around, where if you put the closed face on it, you're pulling at a slight angle and you won't have enough torque to turn it. So yeah, I've cheated. I've already taken it off. So that's it up there, and you can turn it like that. So I couldn't get mine open no matter how much I tried, and it came to the point, if I tried anymore, I was going to rip the treads, or the 6-sided Allen key part of it. So I had to take a blowtorch, just warm up the metal, so have it all nice and warm, not red, just barely warmed up, warmer than everything else. And I put my super fancy socket in, so it's 17 on this side, 24 on this side. It can be any size you want, and yeah, it turns. So there we go. So this is just underneath your starter motor. That's the starter motor there. So that's the front of the engine. So when you open it, that's what the back of it looks like. That's what the front of it looks like. It's not very deep. It's maybe 7mm or 8mm, that kind of depth. It's not hugely deep. So it's a bit hard to kind of figure out what to do if you damage the treads. You can see I've slightly damaged them. The alternative, if that didn't work with the blowtorch, I was just going to weld a big nut onto the front of it, like another 17, and then just weld it, and then just hopefully just turn it, but it would open anyway. So that's the front. So no oil will come out of that, because that's your fill to level. Just that line there, that's your fill to level. So then this is your bung that you actually have to open, which is here. So there's your axle, or your arm coming across. So that's your drive shaft. So it's just underneath the drive shaft. So it is actually at the lowest point. So yeah, just open it and let it drain. So I've done that. That's my super fancy container. It's exactly 2 liters. And if I shine the light behind it, you can see there was definitely not 2 liters in it. So there's the level. So I say there's about 1 liter in it. So just as well I am changing it. I don't know exactly if the last person, I have no history on the car, so I don't know about the last person actually changed it correctly, or like used the right oil or anything, or is there a leak somewhere? The bottom is wet, but I think I also have an engine oil leak, so, and there was a coolant leak as well, so everything's a little bit wet. So I don't know, but it's time to change the oil anyway, so I'm going to have fresh oil in it. When it came out, so I've driven this car for, I think I've owned the car for about 8 or 10 years, and I've been driving it for, I drove it for about 4 or 5 years, all in a row continuously. And yeah, I assume the previous owner to that drove it, and the previous owner to that drove it, and that's all the history I have, like, but no one actually knows really anything about the car. Yeah, when the oil came out, it's not warmed. I didn't drive it. I didn't do anything. I know you should drive it for like 10 minutes or 20 minutes and just have the gearbox oil hot and then drain it, but I can't. Yeah, it came out and it was bad. It was like this weird color of, not water in the oil, but fairly close to that kind of like muck color. So time to change it. So in the next video, I'll just show you how to refill it. So just really quickly before I go back down again, this is how I filled the gearbox. So I shoved that into the fill up to here, put that onto it, and just poured it straight in, and just held those two. I put 2 liters exactly in, and it all seemed to work out. So let's go down and see how it did. Okay, so slightly overfilled it, but you're meant to do that as well. So I had it on jack stand, so after letting the car down, so the car is now sitting flat, and yeah, it's flat this way and back and forth, and it's just draining off the little bit of excess. Even if I put the bung in now, it wouldn't make any difference. That's a nice level to have it at, and I have it just draining down into a can down there just to catch the excess. And I'm going to measure how much is left, so then I put exactly 2 liters in, and whatever's actually coming out there, I don't know what it is. It's probably like 0.1 of a liter, or maybe a little bit less. So it's probably, so if anyone's going to fill it themselves, it's 2 liters and a bit drains off, or 1.9 liters probably. Okay, so there we have it. So I use my super handy tool, put the drain back in, put the bung back in for the drain away, and that's everything now. So it's filled with 1.95. It was very little that was actually in the bottom of the jug. It looked more coming out, but when I went to measure it, it's absolutely tiny what actually came out of it. So maybe I did slightly overfill with 2 liters. That's why so much came out at the very start. But really happy with that. It was actually quite an easy job. It probably took me 20 minutes to get the bung off. Originally I had to use the blowtorch, so that took a little bit longer. But if you didn't have to use a blowtorch and it just came off in first go, between that and not filming, I say you'd have it done in 20 minutes, or even 10 if you're really fast. Yeah, so delighted with that. So the next job now is to maybe start the car and give it a quick drive around. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.